At my baby shower, my mom screamed at me in front of everyone. The only grandchild that matters is from your sister. You have no business having this baby. Get rid of it. Then, she kicked me sharply in the stomach. My sister stood there, smirking, but in that instant, something happened that left the entire room trembling. In the crisp, wintry air of Westchester County, a wealthy New York suburb, Patricia Wilson stood by the window of her grand white mansion, watching snow blanket the garden. Once a hospital administrator, now relishing her opulent retirement, her gaze carried a haunting shadow. "Mother, I'm pregnant." The moment Jennifer uttered those words, Patricia's face turned to stone. After a decade of relentless fertility treatments, Jennifer, her eldest daughter, had finally conceived. But this announcement would ignite the simmering tensions in their family. Jennifer, residing in a luxury apartment and earning $150,000 annually as a senior investment banker, had always bent over backward to meet Patricia's lofty expectations. A diligent worker, she valued family stability above all. In stark contrast, her sister Ashley, an unwed mother, leached off Patricia's wealth, raising her 3-year-old son Lucas in the family home. Struggling with mental instability, Ashley had grown heavily dependent on their mother's financial support. "Oh, is that so?" Patricia's icy response sent chills through the room. Just then, Lucas, playing quietly in the corner of the living room, looked up and asked, "Mommy, will the baby in the tummy turn out like me?" His innocent question froze the room's already tense atmosphere. His occasional peculiar remarks hinted at something darker. $2 million. That was the inheritance Jennifer's late grandmother Eleanor had left behind when she passed the previous year. But there was a condition: only the first child born to the family would inherit it. For now, Ashley had the upper hand, with Lucas as living proof. Jennifer's pregnancy, however, threatened to upend the fragile balance. Jennifer and her husband Michael, a tech company CFO, enjoyed a stable life with a combined income of $400,000. Michael, level-headed and deeply devoted to Jennifer, wanted nothing more than her happiness. "Let's throw a baby shower," Patricia suddenly announced when Jennifer reached her 7th month of pregnancy. Her unnaturally enthusiastic suggestion took everyone by surprise. Patricia, who had stopped taking her medication for bipolar disorder, pushed forward with an almost aggressive excitement. "I'll handle it all. I've booked a private room at the Belmont. It's the ideal place for a celebration." As Patricia revealed the name of the exclusive venue, Ashley's lips curled into a faint smile, her eyes dark with malice. Shielded by their mother's wealth, pensions, and stock investments, Ashley's twisted obsession seemed to deepen daily. Jennifer's heart felt heavy with unease. The joy of conceiving after 10 arduous years now seemed crushed under the suffocating weight of her family's tangled emotions. One late night, a week after Patricia's announcement, Jennifer's phone rang in her high-rise apartment overlooking the city skyline. The glittering Manhattan skyline sparkled against the falling snow as Jennifer reached for the phone with shaking hands. Her heart raced as she lifted the receiver. Outside, the snow fell in eerie silence. "Get rid of it." Her mother's voice pierced through the line, cold and cutting like a knife. It was the start of relentless torment. Patricia's bipolar disorder worsened, and her nightly calls turned into vicious tirades. The woman who once commanded respect as a hospital administrator had unraveled completely. "This child will ruin our family. Ashley and Lucas are all we need," she repeated. The ceaseless late-night calls drained Jennifer emotionally. Her second trimester health, once stable, began to falter under the weight of stress. Michael urged her to block the calls, but Jennifer hesitated, clinging to a shred of gratitude for her mother's support during her decade-long battle with infertility. Ashley, meanwhile, plotted with a quieter cruelty. Her smear campaign on social media cloaked itself in fake concern. High-risk pregnancy after treatments, inheritance-driven pregnancy, attempting to fix a broken marriage, unstable expectant mother, rumors spread like wildfire. In Westchester's upscale social circles, whispers grew into scandals. Afternoon tea conversations revolved around Jennifer's family. "Something isn't right with them," people murmured. "Her sister's son is always bruised. That family has secrets." The lines between truth and fabrication blurred, creating chaos. Anonymous complaints even reached Jennifer's workplace. HR dealt with a barrage of accusations, concealed pregnancy, questions about her performance, rumors of an affair, and baseless claims about her mental health. Yet, with Michael's unwavering support and her spotless track record, Jennifer weathered the storm. Meanwhile, Lucas's troubling behavior became harder to ignore. Reports from his preschool grew alarming: crying fits, strange bruises, sudden aggression, and sleepless nights. Even the $2,500 a month preschool couldn't shield him from the turmoil at home. "You're no longer welcome here," Patricia declared one day, severing Jennifer's connection to Lucas. Jennifer, who had begun to suspect signs of abuse, was left agonizing over the restriction. Reporting to CPS without concrete proof felt impossible. Patricia's erratic behavior escalated. Late at night, neighbors occasionally heard a child's cries echoing from the mansion. Complaints were quickly silenced by Patricia's sharp tongue and her ability to play into the conservative values of the neighborhood. Discipline is essential for raising children, she'd argue, her words cloaked in her former dignity. The inheritance rights belonged to Ashley and her family, Patricia proclaimed during an uninvited visit to Jennifer's apartment. Dressed in an immaculate designer suit, she projected the authority of her past professional life. Your child isn't needed in this family. The $2 million rightfully belongs to Ashley. Beneath her composed exterior lay years of a twisted need for control. After that visit, Jennifer's life took a darker turn. Sinister packages began appearing at her office. Baby shoes splattered with red paint, shredded ultrasound images, and cruelly suggestive messages left her shaken. Police inquiries hit dead ends, with no evidence leading to results. But everything took a sudden and unexpected turn 2 months before Jennifer's due date. Jennifer's due date was approaching, and suddenly, her mother and sister's behavior shifted entirely. It was as if the months of torment had never occurred. The abrupt change only deepened Jennifer's unease. The baby shower preparations are finished, Patricia announced with forced cheer. The invitations have been sent, and everything is ready. The event was planned to perfection, a private room at the Belmont, with gourmet meals costing over $200 per person, a champagne tower, and an extravagant dessert buffet. On the surface, it was a picture-perfect family celebration. But beneath the glimmering facade lay a storm of insanity no one could see. Ashley, now adopting a sugary tone, cooed, "Your baby will be adorable. Let's raise them together as a family." Yet her hands trembled, nails digging painfully into her palms. Her fragile mental state seemed to unravel further with each passing day. The night before the event, Jennifer's phone buzzed with a voice message. Lucas appeared on screen, dressed in white pajamas that resembled hospital gowns. His tiny voice whispered, "Aunt Jenny, Mommy, and Grandma were talking about scary things. Grandma said everyone would be happy if the baby disappeared." The chilling words felt like the calm before a violent storm. The next afternoon, the chandelier in the Belmont's private room shimmered in the gentle light. 30 guests had gathered, Jennifer's investment bank colleagues, prominent neighbors, and acquaintances from Patricia's former hospital days. Elegantly dressed attendees mingled in the sophisticated space, sipping champagne as waiters presented gourmet hors d'oeuvres. Gifts wrapped in Tiffany blue ribbons adorned the tables, creating a scene straight out of a luxury lifestyle magazine. "Thank you all for coming today to celebrate my daughter Jennifer's baby shower," Patricia began, her voice ringing through the room. Wearing a pristine white Chanel suit, she exuded the polished aura of her past life as a respected hospital administrator. Yet, behind her composed demeanor, a flicker of madness glinted in her eyes, unnoticed by the guests. Conversations flowed, celebrating Jennifer's long-awaited pregnancy. 10 years of treatments. How wonderful, someone remarked. Michael must be overjoyed. On the surface, it was a flawless event. But the veneer of perfection was about to shatter. Jennifer sat beside her husband, Michael, in a soft pink maternity dress, her face still carrying the weight of past anguish. Across the room, Ashley clutched Lucas's hand tightly, her black cocktail dress casting an ominous shadow. The boy remained unervingly quiet. "I'll give the mother's speech now," Patricia announced, standing once more. The air grew tense. Her trembling hands gripped the microphone, her unmedicated eyes glowing with a disturbing intensity. "This child," she began. The words struck like a match to dry tinder. "One grandchild from Ashley is enough," she screamed suddenly, her voice slicing through the polished atmosphere. "You shouldn't have this baby. Get rid of it now." Gasps erupted as her deranged cries echoed. Patricia's composure crumbled, and chaos unfolded in an instant. With a swift, violent motion, she kicked Jennifer's pregnant belly. A dull, sickening thud was followed by Jennifer's cry of pain. "Stop," Michael shouted, rushing to shield his wife. But Patricia, blinded by rage, launched another attack. Champagne glasses toppled, shattering on the floor. Gourmet food scattered as the room descended into chaos. Guests screamed in shock, frozen by the violence erupting before them. Amid the commotion, Ashley's lips curled into a subtle, chilling smile. It was as though everything was playing out just as she had hoped. Then, a small voice broke through the noise. "Grandma, are you going to hit again, like you do to Mommy?" Lucas's innocent words cut through the air, silencing the room. "Lucas, be quiet." Ashley snapped, her voice panicked. But the child wouldn't stop. "Grandma and Mommy always hit me. It hurts," he added, his words laced with raw honesty. As Lucas spoke, his sleeve slipped back, revealing a trail of dark bruises across his arm. The guest's shock transformed into dawning horror. "Call an ambulance." "Call the police," someone shouted, snapping everyone into action. The doors swung open as security guards rushed in, followed by the staff of the Belmont executing swift emergency protocols. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder. The piercing red and blue lights of emergency vehicles reflected in the twilight, cutting through the chaos of the once elegant event. "My grandchild." Patricia's anguished cries echoed hollowly in the air as the champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering against the marble floor. The sharp sound resonated like a somber toll, marking the collapse of the Wilson family. Paramedics arrived swiftly, gently placing Jennifer on a stretcher. Michael gripped her hand tightly, his face a mixture of anger and heartbreak. Police officers began collecting statements from the stunned guests, one by one. Ashley stood motionless, clutching Lucas in her arms. Her makeup had smudged, revealing the years of hidden madness etched onto her face. What remained in the once lavish venue were scattered remnants of food, shards of broken glass, and the undeniable truth of the Wilson family's dark secrets, now exposed to all. That evening, the emergency room at Presbyterian Hospital was charged with an unusual tension. Jennifer, rushed in by ambulance, was immediately wheeled into the obstetric emergency unit. The rhythmic beeping of the fetal heart monitor filled the room, cutting through the stillness. "The fetus is stable," the doctor announced, and Michael released a deep, trembling sigh. His usually composed demeanor had vanished, his expensive suit now wrinkled and unkempt. In the hallway, 3 police officers stood waiting, their presence underscoring the gravity of the situation. Meanwhile, the dramatic scene at the Belmont had already sent shockwaves through the local community. Images of Patricia Wilson's arrest circulated rapidly on social media. "Isn't she the philanthropist?" "The former hospital administrator." Rumors and speculation spread like wildfire. In the police interrogation room, Lucas's testimony revealed horrifying truths about years of abuse. "Grandma and Mommy always hit me," the little boy said, his voice calm and steady, belying his young age. "They wash me with hot water and lock me in dark rooms." With a child psychologist present, Lucas recounted his experiences with an eerie composure. His words were carefully recorded, and a physical examination later confirmed his claims, revealing burns and bruises scattered across his small body. "I was only disciplining him," Ashley insisted in a separate interrogation room, but her voice lacked conviction. Her face, streaked with smeared makeup, betrayed the torment of being both an abuser and a victim. Further psychiatric evaluations uncovered that she, too, had endured years of abuse, trapped in a cycle perpetuated by her mother. Hospital records unearthed Patricia Wilson's long battle with bipolar disorder. Testimony from former colleagues revealed she had stopped taking her prescribed medication a year earlier. Beneath her polished exterior as a respected hospital administrator, Patricia had been grappling with a profound mental illness. And then, a startling revelation surfaced. "Miss Wilson, were you involved in a similar violent incident 10 years ago?" police investigators asked. Documents showed that Patricia had been sued for attacking a subordinate at her previous hospital. However, the incident had been swept under the rug, buried by her social standing and influence. "It was all for the inheritance, for my children," Patricia muttered during her interrogation. Her words revealed the culmination of a twisted love and an obsessive need for control. Back at Patricia's luxurious home, police uncovered meticulously planned evidence of harassment against Jennifer. In her study, they found piles of incriminating items that painted a chilling picture of Patricia's calculated malice. The depth of her actions, born from desperation and a warped desire for familial power, was now laid bare for the world to see. Anonymous emails filled with false accusations, fabricated complaints, and, most disturbingly, videos documenting Lucas's abuse were uncovered. "Mother, why?" Jennifer whispered through tears as she listened to the report from her hospital bed. Though her unborn child was safe, the wounds inflicted on her family were deep and unhealing. Events unfolded quickly. The court issued an immediate restraining order, completely barring Patricia and Ashley from contacting Jennifer or Lucas. Patricia was committed to a psychiatric facility for treatment, while Ashley admitted her role in the abuse and agreed to placement in a protective center. Lucas was placed in a temporary care facility where he would receive dedicated psychological support. A representative from Child Protective Services softly explained the legal steps being taken to safeguard his future. 1 week later, the Inheritance Management Committee convened an emergency meeting regarding the late Eleanor Wilson's will. The abuse revelations prompted significant changes. The $2 million inheritance was revoked entirely. Instead, the committee resolved to use the funds to establish a foundation dedicated to preventing child abuse. In her hospital room at Presbyterian Hospital, Jennifer rested her hand on her growing belly. The darkness within her family had been revealed in unimaginable ways, yet the steady rhythm of new life inside her brought a glimmer of hope. Outside, birds soared against the backdrop of melting snow, signaling the arrival of spring and the possibility of renewal. The quiet was broken by a knock on the door. A nurse stepped in, saying softly, "A visitor for you." Lucas's assigned social worker entered, holding a small letter in their hand. "Lucas wanted to make sure you received this," they said, offering it to Jennifer. The letter, scrawled in a child's handwriting, read, "I'll be a big brother to Aunt Jenny's baby." Those heartfelt words hinted at the possibility of healing and a new family bond. When the snow had melted completely, 2 tiny cries filled the delivery room at Presbyterian Hospital. Jennifer had given birth to twin daughters, 2 weeks earlier than expected. "Congratulations," the doctor announced with a smile. Despite their early arrival, the twins cried with remarkable strength. Jennifer and Michael named the girls Emily and Sophia, honoring both Eleanor's baptismal name and Michael's late mother. Sunlight streamed gently through the hospital room as spring began to bloom outside. During visiting hours, Michael's family arrived one by one to celebrate, bringing warmth and joy to the room. Notably absent were Patricia and Ashley. For once, the air was serene, free of the shadows of the past. At the state psychiatric hospital, Patricia's treatment had commenced. With the proper medication, her bipolar disorder symptoms began stabilizing. Reports from her attending physician hinted at cautious optimism. Patricia, once confined to a private room, gradually began participating in group therapy, reflecting on her actions for the first time. What have I done?" she murmured during a session. As memories grew clearer, so did her regret. Conversations with the hospital social worker helped her confront the truth of her behavior. "It was about control, wasn't it?" Patricia admitted. "I wanted everything to go my way, but that wasn't love." This painful confession marked the beginning of a new chapter in her decades-long struggle with mental illness. Ashley, too, had begun facing her own reality in a quiet suburban rehabilitation center. "My mother's abuse broke me, and I passed that pain on to my son," Ashley admitted during her psychological counseling sessions. Slowly, she began to understand the weight of her actions. Determined to rebuild her life, she participated in vocational training programs, setting a goal for herself. "I'm going to earn an accounting certification for Lucas and for myself." The facility's career counselor offered quiet encouragement, supporting her step-by-step journey from dependency to independence. Lucas, too, began a new chapter at a suburban child protection facility. "Good morning, Lucas. How are you feeling today?" his assigned child psychologist asked gently. Enrolled in a specialized program for children recovering from trauma, Lucas gradually rediscovered his smile. "Have Aunt Jenny's babies been born? Can I visit them?" he asked one day, his innocence shining through. That heartfelt wish became reality. After thorough review, the court granted Jennifer and Michael temporary custody of Lucas. "We'll protect him from now on," Michael vowed, marking the beginning of a new family bond. The once quiet high-rise apartment soon echoed with the joyful cries of the twins and Lucas's laughter. The Inheritance Management Committee, inspired by Jennifer's vision, chose to honor Eleanor Wilson's legacy in a new way. The $2 million inheritance was transformed into the Wilson Family Foundation for Child Protection. If this foundation can help children who suffer as Lucas did, it will be the greatest way to honor Eleanor's memory, Jennifer proposed, her words met with unanimous approval. Born from tragedy, the foundation became a beacon of hope for future generations. Patricia's recovery continued as therapy and medication gradually stabilized her condition. "Even if I can't see my daughters, that's the price I must pay," she confessed during a counseling session. "I only pray my grandchildren grow up happy." Her quiet prayers floated into the gentle spring sky, carrying a whisper of redemption. Meanwhile, Ashley studied diligently, inching closer to her accounting certification. "I want to become the kind of mother Lucas can be proud of," she said with conviction. Her determination became the compass guiding her toward a new life. On a tranquil Sunday afternoon, sunlight streamed onto the terrace of Jennifer and Michael's new home overlooking Central Park. Lucas leaned over the crib of his twin sisters, smiling softly. "Emily and Sophia, when you grow up, I'll protect you," he promised, his words a symbol of the family's unbreakable bond. Michael quietly snapped a photo, capturing the moment, a tableau of hope and renewal after the darkness. The image reflected the strength and resilience of a family that had overcome unimaginable pain. In Jennifer's arms, the twins slept peacefully as the spring breeze swayed the trees outside, heralding a new beginning. A tragedy born of control and obsession had given way to healing, love, and light. And so, the true story of rebirth began, shining with the promise of brighter days ahead.